everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name is Gabby.
I'm Connor.
And today we're filming my favorite lineup. It's the 2024 Kia Sorento X-Line Limited in Wolf Gray. Quite honestly, I mean, I'm not an SUV person. I don't know about you, Connor.
We were talking about it. We like it. It's a nice SUV.
It looks good, and let me tell you, the drive is even better. The powertrain in this specific model is a fantastic drive. It gives ample power, but it's still fairly fuel efficient. So we're going to give you a full walkthrough of everything there is to know about this vehicle. We'll talk about price point, powertrain, comfort, interior, features, everything. And the best part is it's a live stream car review, which means if I fall on my face, you will see it in real time. Also, it's a really cool car. So Connor's going to be our cameraman today. It's just me doing the exterior and interior. So keep the comments nice and let us know if you have any questions. All right, Connor, here's the camera.
Get into it here.
We'll start off again with the exterior. So if you missed it in the beginning, this paint color is called Wolf Gray.
Sorry.
Oh.
Flipped it twice. There we go.
Okay. This paint color is called Wolf Gray. It's very similar to a primer-esque. It doesn't necessarily have a metallic sheen, but it's also not a complete flat paint. It looks very, very good and obviously gives the vehicle a bit more of a sporty edge. Speaking of a sporty edge, this vehicle packs a punch with this powertrain, and that's the first point I'm going to talk about today. So let me pop the hood. This features a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder gasoline direct injection engine. And this turbo powertrain is going to give you 281 horse with 311 pound-feet of torque. Those are really fun torque numbers. And again, you don't necessarily think fun and SUV together. Oh, there we go. One thing, I do kind of wish I had a hydraulic lift, but we can work around that. So let's grab that prop arm.
Those are pretty good numbers for the Sorento.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, again, if you've been driving performance cars, maybe you're settling down, you need a family SUV. This one has 3 rows of seating, all-wheel drive, a really fun powertrain, and the fuel efficiency numbers are quite good. So again, 281 horse, 311 pound-feet of torque, and the transmission is an 8-speed wet-type dual clutch. So you do get paddle shifters, which if you'd like to manually shift your car, you can, as manual as an automatic can get. But let's take a look at the rest of the car now. So when it comes to the front grille, on the X-Line Limited package, you're going to get a lot of blacked out elements. So the grille itself has a gloss finish with a little bit of matte piping down the very center, or I guess in vertical lines. We have a body colored front bumper with, again, a little bit more gloss black. Integrated into that gloss black area is going to be parking sensors, and I love how it's obviously color matched with the vehicle, so it doesn't stick out and it just looks sleek. You have more safety functions from this radar plate right over here, which is going to read vehicles ahead of you to monitor what's happening as you're driving. So forward collision avoidance, smart cruise control, and even highway drive assist with this car. What else? The skid plates. The skid plates are also quite cool. So you do have a bit more of a kind of robust styling with this vehicle. It's going to start on the X-Line and work its way all the way up to the top of the trim, which is the X Pro. And essentially it just gives this vehicle a little bit more ground clearance and a little bit more of a dramatic edge. Sorry guys, we're not filming at our regular time, so people are walking in here. And then for our headlights, we get full LEDs. Me and Connor were just talking about this. Those ambers look so, so good. Definitely gives this vehicle a lot of just edge while you're driving. You definitely notice it. It's classic and it makes a little bit of a difference in the Kia lineup. Not a lot of our vehicles have this look, so it's very signature. And then down below, one of my favorite things, we get fog lights in their LEDs. So check them out, very nice. It starts on this trim, so if you must have fog lights, you must get the X-Line Limited or above. Connor, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm liking how the headlights, it's kind of like a stacked design.
Oh.
And there's like 4.
Like vertically stacked?
Yeah.
You've been watching our videos too much.
Is that the...
I always say, yeah, vertically stacked.
Oh, okay. Well,
there you go.
I like it like that. There we go.
All right. And then in the very center, this is one thing I always forget to talk about because look how well hidden it is. You have a front camera. So this feature is going to be introduced on this trim level, and essentially it just provides a full 360 camera view. So as I was driving, if I were to really approach an obstacle to get very close, it'll sense that with the proximity sensors and then trigger the camera to show me just how much space I have. If you're someone who lives in an underground garage or in the city where there's a lot of difficult parking situations, that is a great function to have. Wheels. The wheels are so nice. 20-inch alloys. Check them out. You get, it's hard to tell right now because there is so much shine on there, tire shine all over the wheel itself, but we have matte and gloss black. So in a regular situation where it's not super, super shiny, all of that would have a more dynamic look to it, let's say that. All season, or not all season, I should say. Yeah, all season tires. There we go. I was going to say all-terrain. All-terrain is introduced on the Triple Up, which is the X Pro, where you'll get a smaller alloy but big, beefy tires. This definitely gives the vehicle a much more clean, city sleek look. You don't necessarily need all-terrains if you're just doing day-to-day driving, but it is an option if you want it. For your mirrors, they are black, and you do have a turn signal indicator with the camera mounted on the very bottom, so you can see what's happening in your blind spot as soon as you indicate a turn with your turn signal. Up at the top, we have raised roof rails. So again, makes this vehicle have a little bit more stance to it. I think it looks quite good, and obviously they are functional because this vehicle does have a sunroof, and it's a huge one. It's panoramic. You can now have items on your cargo area up at the top and still utilize your sunroof. So best of both worlds. The door handles are body color, which I guess just makes the vehicle look a little bit more clean. But if you take a closer look, Connor, zoom in on the passenger door handle. Notice how there's no button?
Nice indent, nice and
Indent.
clean.
What does an indent mean? It means this car has digital key to touch, so I can unlock, start, and drive my car using my phone, which isn't in my pocket because we're filming. Okay. So yeah, you can unlock your vehicle. It's a nice tech function. If you are loaning out your vehicle to somebody, you can actually send them access through your phone too, so you don't have to give them a physical key, hoping, or I guess maybe they won't lose it now. And then for your wheel arches, you do have plastic, which, I mean, I'm not always a fan of, but it is nice for Canada because with all the salt and just stuff that gets kicked up from the roads, it saves some paint color, some body color. And then along the back, not much has changed for the Sorento for this new body style, but we now have, guys, we might have to zoom in on this. This is the only change for the rear end of the vehicle. Taillights are connected now. There used to be a little brake point. I always like to point that on the Sorento because it's huge. That's all. Everything else though, there's still great safety functions back here. So rear parking sensors with rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist, and of course a beautiful backup camera with dynamic guidelines. More on that when we hop in. The spoiler on this vehicle not only make the car look good and a little bit more sporty, no boring SUVs here, it also houses your rear wiper. So it's nice and hidden, not in view, and just cleans up the look of the rear end. Because this is a high trim level, we do get a power liftgate. And it is height adjustable, so if it's a bit too tall for you, you can set it to your preferred setting by manually moving it and then setting the height button until it beeps. Third row SUV, or three row SUV, so right now we have the rear seats up. And this may not look like a ton of space, because it's not. But if you aren't utilizing 6 seats, you can knock those down and have a lot more usable room. If you are using these seats though, it's good to note that each of them do have car seat tethers, so top tethers. You can knock them down by grabbing this latch. It'll knock your headrest down, and then you can easily push and fold it flat. And Connor, if you want to get closer in there, you can see it's completely flat, so there's no angle of incline. It's just completely usable space. You do have little hooks on the side where you can put your seatbelt, so if you are utilizing this vehicle for cargo, nothing's going to get in the way. And then for your rear seat passengers, there are cup holders, storage pockets, and USB-Cs back there, which is quite nice. So it's a fairly comfortable cabin. I will say, obviously the third row is never going to be the most spacious seat in the house, but it's still not bad on this car. There's a good amount of headroom, and for shorter distances, it's totally doable. I'll talk about gas for a second. So the gas door is on the side. Just regular unleaded fuel is fine on this vehicle, and it reads 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, which is very, very good for a vehicle of this size. It's also all-wheel drive. I think I mentioned that earlier, but let's talk more about that. Kia is going to utilize a smart all-wheel drive system, meaning that if it's a beautiful day like today where there's no snow, no sort of exterior conditions, the car is going to be primarily front wheel, which is great for fuel efficiency. Now, if I were to drive onto a gravel road or experience somewhere with a little bit more slippage, the car will then adjust the torque to the rear wheels to make it better operating in those conditions. You can also utilize the terrain modes that are in the car to change that manually if you'd like. So if you decide you're going to drive onto the beach or something, you can adjust that yourself. Before I hop in, I'll have Connor give a little pan of the interior. So one of my favorite things about this trim is how it's still kind of down to earthy, if that makes sense for a car. And by that, I mean that we have some wood paneling along the door and even the dash. But then you get some of those luxe touches. So the quilting in the seats, the beautiful power options for the driver and passenger, and even memory seats for the driver too. So everything just ties in nicely. It's a fun car, but it's also luxurious. So it's the best of both worlds, really. Your window controls are just going to be where they regularly are. And then we do have some soft touch materials along the door as well too, so a nice grab handle to get in and out nice and easy. The sound system is Bose, and Bose makes the best sound system out of any of our Kia Hyundai vehicles. I mean, we have Harman Kardon, Meridian. Bose is definitely the winner, and you can see it's just mounted on our door. So that's going to be all throughout the cabin as well too, so everyone will get a premium listening experience. Connor, do you want to join me on the passenger side?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
And Zoran was wondering about the price. Here you are, Zoran.
50,975 Canadian, that's the MSRP. So of course there are taxes and fees on top of that, and that will of course depend on your province and also your dealership. If you're looking to buy a vehicle, I just so happen to know the perfect establishment. Brantford Kia, that's where we film every day. That's also where we work. So we sell brand new Kias, but we also have 2 Hyundai stores, Brantford Hyundai and Owensound Hyundai. All of those stores will treat you fairly and make sure you are not paying over MSRP or market adjustments. Okay, now you can join me, Connor.
Let's jump in.
Okay, I was the last person driving this car, so the seat is really high up. Let's drop that down. It's very nice that we have power seats in this vehicle, let me tell you. Okay, all the way to the floor. All right, so first things first, let's turn the vehicle on without the engine. So press the start button twice, it'll wake up the screen. We have massive 12.3-inch displays for both your main navigation system, but also your digital gauge cluster. So this is updated software, it's called CCNC, which stands for Car Connected Navigation Cockpit. It has a very interesting and long name, but let me tell you, it is a very easy to use software. So all the graphics have been enlarged and they're simplified. So you have quick access to your map if you need it. There we go. Sorry, the car's waking up just like me. And it even gives you a tutorial the first time you start it up. So, but you guys, if you're watching this video, you don't need that tutorial. So as we exit out of the nav system, you can see all of our other large icons, so media, phone, projection, all that kind of thing. But here's what's really important. For the 2024 model, we now have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, something that everyone's been asking for forever, and it's finally introduced. Best part is, it utilizes the whole screen, and of course you don't need a cable, which means you can actually use your wireless phone charger with no problems. Now while we're down there charging with the touch of a button, the wireless cable, charger I should say, and then heated and ventilated seats. These two are a must for Canada because this is black leather, it is super hot outside, you can cool down your seats while you're driving, which is always so nice to have, but in the winter, leather seats get so cold, you now have heat as well too. Gear shift, and it's traditional, so as opposed to this vehicle's competitor, which is the Santa Fe, that one has a shift by wire on the column. This is so nice to have. Honestly, simplified is sometimes better. And then of course you can use the paddle shifters to manipulate your gears if you choose to do so. Below that is your drive mode select. So you get normal, eco, sport, and smart. And that changes the shift mapping points of the vehicle, but also how it's going to respond to throttle input and steering input. So sport is going to be a lot of fun, but it might not necessarily give you the best fuel consumption, I should say. And then eco mode will do the opposite, so it kind of lessens the sensitivity of the throttle, but is going to change the shift mapping points to be a little bit more efficient and a little bit better for regular driving, I would say. If I press that down like a button though, it switches to terrain mode, so check this out. It illuminates in orange, and now we can choose between snow, mud, and sand. Heated steering wheel with 2 different levels, auto hold braking, downhill braking assist, an electronic parking brake, and our 360 view camera. Videos. Wish we could film our videos from the car's cameras, but we can't. So you get a top-down view, and then of course our front view. So you can see the door ahead of us, which is a little strange. A lot of people are used to the backup, but we get everything in this car. You can also change what you're looking at. So now we have our dynamic guidelines for the rear. You can see the mats I left on the floor, just about everything really. And of course it's going to show you what's happening if it's relevant for you. So if you're backing up, it's not going to show you your front camera, it'll show you your rear. But if you're approaching something, it'll do the opposite. Okay. Parking sensors. So this is a question we get asked a lot for people that have bikes or if they're towing something. You can turn off your parking sensors so that way your vehicle's not freaking out every time it senses your trailer that's over there. And then there's also idle stop and go, which essentially shuts off your car at a stop if you're at a stoplight, that kind of thing. Heated steering wheel. These are cup holders. And then a little storage pocket for your key. In the center, you get a glove box or center console with a separated storage compartment, and you can take that out. And now, glove box review. Connor, will you do the honor?
Let's see here. Yeah, looks. This one's not felt lined.
Oh.
I think we did. What car was it? A Sportage or a Seltos the other week?
I don't think
so.
And
it was felt lined. Either one.
Okay.
But either way, I'll have to visit back to that.
Yeah. And then up above, this is the panoramic sunroof I was speaking about earlier. So it's huge. It extends all the way to the back. Now the actual glass pane is going to stop at around here. You can see it really brightens up the cabin because otherwise there's a lot of dark accents here. It's really nice to have that extra light. Let's close the light actually. LED lighting inside the cabin. You just kind of touch them like a spotlight and they shine down. And of course the dealership's lights just went off. Who forgot to pay their bill? Power closing as well too. All right. Is there any questions about the actual infotainment screen or any of the new software that you've seen?
Not that I've seen,
No?
but there's a pretty important question. Connor, are you a cat or a dog person? I'm both.
Both? Oh, okay.
Thank you for asking, Joseph.
Can I grab that? Okay. I'm just going to quickly show the steering wheel. So we got our paddle shifters, On the left side is going to be more so media controls and just driver convenience. So voice commands, volume, phone, and then a favorite button that you can set to do whatever you'd like. Then on the right side, we have some driver assistance. So we have our smart cruise control. You can increase, decrease your speed, set the following distance, and then turn on or off for your lane follow assist. So when I press this down, check out that icon we get. It looks like a little steering wheel. That essentially means that the camera, if you're about to depart from your lane, I know that function is so annoying. This vehicle takes it a step further, sees what's happening ahead of you, and takes corrective action. So if there's a curve up ahead of you, whether it's the city or the highway, the car will actually do it for you. It's not a full self-drive, but it's pretty close. And especially that paired with your smart cruise control, the vehicle's controlling the acceleration, the distance, everything. It's a really nice function, especially if you're someone who does a lot of long distance driving. You will never experience driver fatigue. Let's check out the back. Okay. Okay, captain's chairs. These are one of my favorite things about the Sorento. I mean, not like I have one, but if I did, I would probably want to be driven around in these seats. You do have armrests. There's a good amount of storage along the side, so there's even little storage pockets. And then the seats themselves actually recline. So if I were to hop in, I can adjust it to wherever I like to sit. I almost grabbed the wrong one. Would have folded myself half. Recline, and then if the sunroof is open, you have a beautiful view of whatever's ahead of you. USB-Cs as well. I was about to say something, but I figured I probably shouldn't. USB-Cs, storage pockets, and then our cargo net pockets as well too. There are air vents back here, so you can, of course, get airflow to the rear. Now, one thing I will point out, we get a lot of questions about this. There's no third row air vents, but you still get a good flow of air to the very rear seats from these vents here. And largely because, again, this is a captain's chair configuration, so it just kind of passes through, which is very nice. We do have a household outlet, so very nice for larger devices, and then a USB-C or 12 volt as well. Back here, there are, of course, clips and LED lights just integrated by your handles. And then to get into the third row, it's very easy. So at the very top of these seats, you do have a button. Push that, folds the seat down and allows it to slide on its rail system. Then you just kind of climb in. I'm doing it in high heels. Typically, it's a little bit easier. And we got a good amount of room. So I'll grab the camera from you, Connor, and I'll flip it. Warning, jump scare, trigger warning. Okay, and I'll pull the seat back so we get the full experience. All right, so for headroom, I'm good. Who is that? For headroom, I have a really good amount, and then of course I do have those cup holders, and I have quick access to fold the second row. So if you're not a fan of who's sitting ahead of you, you can actually just do one of these. Bye. And then you have the USB-Cs as well too. Good amount of storage, good amount of cup holders, and then extra seatbelt clips as well too. Do a quick pan of what we've got ahead of us. So from this angle, you can see the whole driver and front passenger configuration. Our seat belts, not seat belts, are and just a very, I mean, it's simple when you first look at it, but it has so much. So there's such a great amount of tech. It's a very, very driver focused, and I don't know, it's a beautiful layout. I really do like this car. It's everything you need, really. I'll hop out of here, move the seat back, so I can press this again to release the seat, allowing it to move, and then to, of course, bring it back on the rail, you can just grab the latch underneath. Now, we didn't really talk about the passenger seat, so Connor, do you want to quickly show that, and I'll kind of talk over and walk you through it?
Someone's asking about lumbar support.
Yeah.
And it looks like even the passenger has.
Yeah, so driver and passenger both get lumbar support. There is a function that the driver gets that the passenger doesn't, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it's very nice to have all these passenger configurations, 'cause it's super easy to adjust on the fly. You don't have to worry about grabbing the little bar while you're going uphill and your seat flying all the way to the back, so very nice there. And then both of the two main seats in the back are heated, so you get two different levels for both the left and right seat. You get a cup holder right in the door, and then a sun visor, sunshade, and then an extra bottle pocket over there. Again, Bose premium sound system. I was going to say sound speakers, but it's not right.
I like the stitching on the door panel.
Yeah.
How it's kind of.
So lots of soft touch everywhere. Like I said, this vehicle, it's so sporty and fun, but it's also so just sleek and nice, you know what I mean? It attracts, I think, every buyer, so you don't know if you have an outdoorsy lifestyle or, you know, a nice leisurely lifestyle. You can get both with this car, which is always a fun time. Again, with the dual clutch transmission, it provides very quick shifting, and it is very responsive. Now, it might feel a little bit weird for you if you've never driven a car with a dual clutch. You might think it's a bit choppy at low speeds, but that is just regular dual clutch transmission operation. It's definitely something you should do a little bit of research before getting, but it operates like a traditional manual in the sense that you don't actually have to utilize 2 clutches. Can you imagine having 2 clutch pedals plus your brake and gas? No, no, no. All right, I'll quickly show that extra function that was on the driver's seat. So Connor, you want to come around this way?
Not really much to look at in the engine.
It's there.
All the heat shields for the turbo. Sport pedals, can you demo them? I'm not sure what they mean. Oh, Gabi's shaking her head, so clearly she knows what that means. I'm not in the loop here.
Okay, power seats, but look at this. You get driver knee extender. So if you're a tall driver, check that out. Look at all that extension. And then, of course, it is manual, and it's not manual, memory. Guys, it's been such a long day. Okay, memory seats, so 2 different settings, driver 1, driver 2, and then there are also driver profiles on the vehicle. So if you share it with somebody, maybe a spouse or a friend, you can have all of your things separated, whether it be radio or safety functions. It'll all be separate, and even Bluetooth devices that are connected. Anything else you want to point out about this car, Connor?
We kind of glossed over the wheels and how we mentioned they're half matte, kind of half gloss, but you can't really.
Right now they're all gloss.
Yeah, they're kind of all gloss, but I do like the design of them. It's something kind of different than your traditional just spoked design.
So they remind me a lot of the EV9 wheels in the sense that they're kind of square on a wheel. But we actually have a previous body style Sorento in the video bay with us right now. So why don't we do a little side-by-side comparison of those wheels? So again,
definitely a lot, and this is what I kind of mean by just a spokey style. It's just, you know, like every other wheel on the market. And also, look at that, no taillight connection.
Oh, I can't believe it.
But yes, I do definitely like these wheels. It's just kind of something different.
Something fun for the kids. Anyway, it's crazy to think that both of those are 20-inch alloys because these ones look much larger. Seriously, they're the same size wheel. This one definitely has a lot more road presence on the new Sorento, I should say. And while the body of the vehicle hasn't changed in the sense of size, this vehicle just looks more aggressive. It looks more, I don't know, what's the proper word for that? It has more road presence.
Menacing?
Menacing, yeah. Let's say menacing. That's a new official term. Other than that, I'm just looking. I don't really see any questions about the car. So, Connor, what's your favorite thing about this vehicle?
I'd probably have to say the headlights.
Headlights, yeah.
I would agree way too far down. Okay.
I think the
yeah, I like the headlights. I like the amber daytime running lights. But I also like the wheels.
Yeah?
So wheels and headlights. Those are my favorite part.
I think we should show the blind spot camera.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Let's do that.
So I'm just going to have to turn the car on for that. Walk slowly. All right. So if you hop in the passenger side with me, Connor, we'll start the car. Oh, here's another beautiful thing. So every time you enter the vehicle or exit the vehicle, it will recline itself to give you an easy way to get out of the car. And once you hop in, that seat is still reclined. But as soon as you sit down, you go to turn on the vehicle, brings you right back up to your safe setting, which is very nice. It's like you remembered. Okay, so engine on, keys in, right? Yeah, keys on. Sorry, that was awkward. All right, check that out. So blind view camera, right side, left side. And check out how it shows your wheels as well too. If you're someone who lives in the city and you have to parallel park a lot, that is a lifesaver because you can see just how much space you have and make sure you don't curb those beautiful 20-inch alloys, which I quite like. And then again, a quick look at the wood grain trim along the dash with that almost chrome-esque or aluminum-esque finish for your vents. The vents look pretty good in themselves too. Obviously, it's nice to have our climate control. And with that being said, we should probably talk about the climate control. I mean, everything's here. This is kind of a hot topic in the sense that it's a screen and it's switchable. So it goes from multimedia or infotainment to climate. You can easily tell which one's which because if you see the blue or the red icons, and it is dual zone, so Connor can have his temperature separate from mine. You can easily turn it off there. Bring it back though, and this is your volume and tune knob, and then you get all these functions in the very center. You do get a little bit of audible feedback every time you make a change there, so you don't have to worry about if you hit the button or not. But the best part is everything you can do over here, you can also do the screen, and a lot of it you could also do with the voice command function too. So you're not worried about cycling through screens while you're driving, what you should be doing, which is very nice to have. All right, let's look at the chat one more time, probably, and then end off today's video.
There was someone, oh, I'd have to look back in. There was a question about the information or infotainment system without turning the car on, but that would just be the accessory mode.
Yeah, so in accessory mode, which is what the car's on right now, the engine's not running, so we're not going to smoke out the dealership. It will warn you that the battery will drain running this because it's just using your 12 volt. It's not running the engine to keep everything powered. So definitely don't do this for a long time, but it's good enough for our videos, and that's why it'll also give you your warning lights on the dash because nothing's actually on, if that makes sense. So this vehicle doesn't actually have a check engine light, it doesn't actually need oil, it doesn't need to check the battery, it's just the warning lights. We get questions about that a lot sometimes, and yeah, it's all good. All right, well, shall we end off today's video?
Zoran was actually, this is probably
If Zoran's
no, this is
asking
a
me,
legit question. What's the screen resolution? Do you know? Well, I don't know. It kind of seemed like a legit
better
question.
than our video.
I think that's what they were joking about.
Yeah. One more thing I'll show you. If you pull down the top or drop down menu, it's
That's
similar.
new.
Yeah, it's similar to your phone in the
Yeah.
sense like all your quick controls are right here. So I don't know if the screen's ever too dim for you or too bright for you, you can adjust this without, going to setup and then going through
like
screen
that.
menus and all of those things. So it's user friendly, simplified, but it still gives you everything you need and more. So there's a lot in this car for sure. I want to know what you guys think about this vehicle though. This is definitely my favorite SUV in Kia's lineup, like I said earlier. The color, everything, the entire combination is just perfect for me. If you like this car, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you want to see next because again, we do these videos for you guys. We want to know what you want to see as long as it's a Kia Hyundai because we are the Kia Hyundai channel. All right, Connor, anything you want to add?
Edgar wants to know if it comes with Bluetooth. Absolutely it does.
Yes, absolutely.
And wireless Apple CarPlay.
yes.
And Android Auto.
And Android Auto. Yeah, it's got everything. All right.
I think that was probably
Is that
about
all?
it. I think that's about it.
Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. We hope to see you in our next video. And leave a like if you're still on or if you're watching this in the future.